Adenike. Okay, my name is Adenike, and I'm a data analyst. I live in Port Harcourt. So I would like everyone to follow that suit. If you would like to unmute your mic to talk, that is very nice. And if you would like to also write that in the chat box, I wouldn't mind that too. Thank you. Jalil, can we meet you, please? Benjamin Adeshewa.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benjamin Babangile. I'm a data analyst with Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe. I live in Gombe State. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. It's very nice to have you here. How is Gombe?
Gombe is doing fine, man. Doing fine,
Uh,
yeah.
Thank you for joining. So we'll just start now while we expect other people to join us so that we'll not waste our time. So thank you, Jalil, business analyst from England. It's so nice to have you on the call. Thank you very much for joining us. So just as a culture in Techlitics, I'm going to be sharing just a few slides with you to introduce Techlitics to you. So, and I'd also like to crave your indulgence that this call is recorded so that people that are joining late or other people that are not able to make it to this call today will be able to have a rewatch. Thank you. So I'll be sharing my screen right now. Okay. Please let me know if you can see my screen by a show of hand or a show of or any emoji. Thank you. Thank you. So once again, you are welcome to the free masterclass by Techlitics. So Techlitics is a technology workforce development and consulting company. So I'll just give you a summary of what we do. So at Techlitics, we are into workforce development and we are also at the same time a consulting company. So what we do is that we help individuals or organizations to upskill or to improve their skills, or to also help organizations train their workers. So why did we establish Techlitics? What is the problem we are trying to solve? We all know that after COVID-19, things changed. The way people work actually changed. There had to be a lot of remote, there was a lot of skill gap, a lot of new ways of working was created. And because of this, people had to upskill. People had to fulfill these roles and make sure that they are able to work in the new way of life. And so at Techlitics, we help organizations and individuals like you to upskill in the technological workforce. So I've spoken about the solution. So what is our attraction? We were formerly known as the Rainmaker when we started our YouTube tutorial in May 2020. And in 2025, we changed our name from Rainmaker to Techlitics. Since then, we have had over 790 new signups. We have completed 103 lectures. We have over 120 active students. And right now, we have 279 YouTube subscribers. By the way, if you are not on our YouTube channel, please kindly join. We'll be putting the link in the chat box. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. So who are those that work at Techlitics? So meet Oluwatayo Onwikule, who is the founder and the lead trainer of Techlitics. She is a chartered banker. She's an Microsoft Excel specialist. Tayo is a very intelligent lady. Actually, that is not part of the slide, but I'm just telling you. And she's the brain behind Techlitics. So meet the other members of my team. This is not the full list. So we have Jadida, who is the product manager, Mary, who is the graphic designer, myself, the data analyst. We also have Abiodun, the product designer, and Adeshewa, the data analyst. So before we proceed to the business of today, I would like to tell you, when I was talking about discussing about what we do at Techlitics, I told you that one of our core expertise is for us to upskill individual and companies. So we want you to become better, to be a better employee at work, to be able to change your jobs without and be ready for the change that you want to make. So coming this January 20th, the change so the dates have changed. On the 20th of January, we are going to be starting a data school where we are going to be walking you through how to use Microsoft Excel and Power BI. And the cost of the fee, the cost fee is 150,000 naira. But for you that will be joining very soon, that will be joining before 15th of December, we have discounted the fee to 130,000 naira or $130. And if you are in England spending pounds, we are willing to take 120 pounds. So please try and register for the course. You are not going to regret it. Our course, we are going to be getting the CPD accredited certificate of completion, and is a live class. So please try as much as possible to enroll in the data school. You'll be getting the link for registration in the chat box. Do well and register. Thank you. So to the business of today, we want to be talking about efficient data management, and we want to use a magic Excel function called Xlookup. So what are we going to be talking about? We are going to be talking about what efficient data management is, the importance of data management, data retrieval. Then we are going to be talking about Xlookup itself, and we are going to be looking at some examples. So what is efficient data management? When you say efficient data management, you are talking about how to manage your data starting from your collection to retrieval of that data. So you have collected your data, you have stored it, you have organized it. But now the major reason why you have been keeping that data has come for you to retrieve your data, for you to be able to get information from your data, for you to be able to get insight from your data. How do you go about it? So that is what we want to be talking about today. We want to look at how Xlookup is going to help us to retrieve our data. So, and when we do this, we are going to be making informed decisions. We are going to be saving cost. There will be more reliability in our data, accuracy, and you are making a data-driven decision. Please, are you with me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're with you.
Yes, Adenike.
I'm talking to myself. Thank you. So now let's talk about Xlookup, the magic function in Excel. So has any one of us used Xlookup in the past? I would like you to unmute yourself and just probably yes, no, or you are just hearing about it for the first time. Anyone? Okay, so I will take
Yeah.
that as a okay. I think Adeshawa is trying to say yes. All right, no problem. So Xlookup is a powerful function in Microsoft Excel, and it was introduced as an alternative to VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. A lot of us have used VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP in the past. So Xlookup is actually like an advanced VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. It can perform both the work of VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP in a more efficient way. So currently, Microsoft Excel currently have Xlookup function. On Microsoft 365, on Microsoft 2021 and also as an update in Microsoft 2019. So if you are using these three versions of Excel, you should have Xlookup on your system. So what are the advantages of Xlookup? I'm not going to be dwelling too much on this because by the time we start all these advantages, well, by the time we start the real hands-on exercises and examples, you are going to be seeing all these advantages: the flexibility, the ability to perform reverse search, the ability to perform error handling, to handle error, and that's the not the NA errors, the array functionality, and the enhanced searching. So right now we are going to be proceeding to the real exercise. I will be sharing my workbook right now. All right, so let's start with the first concept that we want to be looking at, the first example we want to be looking at. We want to be looking at the basic X lookup, the basic, just the simplest thing anybody should know about X lookup. So now, if I call my X lookup function in Microsoft Excel, let me use the function. There are different ways of calling the Xlookup. Is either you come to this fx function, the insert function here, or you do equal to Xlookup. So I'll be using the fx for now, and I'm also going to be using the equal to call my Xlookup function later on. So when you click here where my cursor is right now, the insert function. Now I have Xlookup already because I've been working with it. But for you, if you have never used Xlookup before, what you need to do is that where you have, type a brief description of what you want to do and then click go. Just type in Xlookup. Then you click on go. Then you have under the selected function, Xlookup is already highlighted. Then you click on OK. When you click on OK, you can see a function argument that comes up. So you have your lookup value, your lookup array, your return array, if not found, match mode. Then we have another one called search mode. So there are 6 different arguments in Xlookup. So you can see that the lookup value, lookup array, and the return array are bolded, while the if not found and the match mode are not bolded. So what this means is that these 3 bolded arguments are compulsory. You must provide those arguments before you can have any successful retrieval of your data. But these other ones that are not in bold, they are not compulsory, but they are also very useful. So these are the different arguments in Xlookup. So when we say lookup value, I'm going to be taking it one after the other. When we say our lookup value means what are we looking for? What do you want to search? What do you want to look for is your lookup value. So then the lookup array is that value you are looking for, that data you are looking for. Where is it? Inside, where is the data range, or where is the data located? Then the return array is what the answer, the expected result. Where in your column, which column or which range is it located? So that is your return array. So I'm going to be using this very simple table here to explain what I have just said now. So can anyone mention any of the names out of these 5 names I have here that we should look up for? Which name should we look up?
Shola.
Hamza.
What did you say?
Shola.
Look for glory. Glory.
Look for glory. All right, thank you. So we want to look for glory. So now we are going to do equal to, just like I said, type in Xlookup. Can you see the moment you start typing it in, Excel already understand that you want to look up for Xlookup. Sorry, please just Give me a second, please. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Rain was entering into my apartment, so I had to close my window. Sorry about that. So, Xlookup, the moment you start typing it in, Excel already understand that you want to call up Xlookup function. So as it has brought it out, what you have to do is to click on the tab button. So when you click on the tab button, it's going to lock up that formula. Then you can put in your other argument. So the first argument here that is asking of is the lookup value. So our lookup value, we want to look up Gloria. So I'll just click on glory, sorry. Then the lookup array. And this can be in a two-way. You can have your glory around in another cell, and you can also pick it up from here. Then the next argument is the lookup array. Where is glory? Glory is in this. So you are going to click it on. You click from Ade to Nathan. You select all the cells there. Then the next question is asking you is that the return array. That is, when I find glory, what should I return? I want to know the nationality of glory. So I'm going to select from Nigeria to United Kingdom. And after that, is either I click enter or I close my bracket. And when I close the bracket, then I have locked in my formula, then I press in enter. Sorry, I'm coming. Let me just put my glory here. So, and I'll begin again so that we not get it mixed up. So I'm looking for glory, and glory is here. Then my return array is here. Then I close my formula and I click it in. So you can see here that it's already telling me that glory is from Canada. So that is what Xlookup does basically. So if I change this name now, if I change it to Shola, you can see that automatically I don't need to enter any formula again. It's telling me that Shola is from Nigeria. If I change it to Hamza, it's telling me that Hamza is from Saudi Arabia. So basically, that is what Xlookup does. Now, Xlookup is a function that you can use no matter the industry you are working at. Whether you are an HR professional, whether you are a data analyst, whether you are an inventory analyst, no matter what you do so far you work with data, you can always work with Xlookup. So for today's masterclass, I'm going to be using a data that is gotten from the immigration website of Canada. And my data set is, this is my data set, is about all the African countries and how they have immigrated into Canada between 2018 to 2022. So I'm just telling you that. So back to our basic lookup. Now, these are some African countries, and these are the total number of their citizens that immigrated into Canada in 2022. So we want to look up some of these values. And here I have just how many cells? Rows. I have 17 rows. This same formula I want to use even if you have 260,000 rows, even if you have 500,000 rows, it is still going to work fine. So just look at it as I have a large data set and I want to retrieve my data. You cannot start looking out one after the other. Okay, let me start looking for where Cote d'Ivoire is. So this is where all these functions come into place. So now I would like someone again to volunteer and tell us which of these countries we should look out for and know the number of immigrants that came into Canada in 2022. You can unmute yourself or you can drop it in the chat box. Okay, thank you, Jalil. Chad. So we'll be looking out for Chad. So let's put it here, Chad. So we want to know how many people immigrated to Chad, to Canada from Chad. So the same thing we did the first time. So I'm just going to say equal to Xlookup, and I'll press my tab button. My lookup value, what am I looking for is Chad. Lookup array, where do I find Chad? So I'm going to click on it. Also, when I find Chad, what should I return? That's the return array. Then I'll click on where my return array is and close the brackets, then press enter button. Sorry, what happened? Okay. So I'll go one more time. I think I made a mistake in the formula.
Yeah, you didn't put your lookup value.
Xlookup. So I'm looking for Chad. My lookup array is here. Then what do I want to return? Where my result is, the column where my result is. I can do Control Shift down to highlight all my data set. Just in case I have a very large data set, I can't start scrolling down. So the moment you just do Control Shift down, you want it to go up, down, or Control Shift up if you want it to come up. Then you close the brackets and press enter. You can see from here we have it that our Chad is 86. So 86 people from Chad migrated to Canada. So that is the basis of Xlookup. I hope I can proceed, right?
Yes,
All right.
you can.
All right, thank you. So now let's look at, okay, there is something else I need to mention here. Here I'm working as I've already represented my data as a table. So to do this, I just press Ctrl T, and I've already named my table. I named my columns too. So that is why in my formula, you can see that the name of my table is immigration, and it's calling my country column and also my year 2022 column. So actually, that is the best way you can work with data. So to name your tables and your ranges, it will make work easier for you and also make your data more readable. So anybody seeing this would already understand that, oh, this is what we are trying to, this is how I got here. So that is just by the way. So I'll be proceeding to tell us how we can do a two-way lookup. What is a two-way lookup? In VLOOKUP, you can't do a two-way lookup, but in Xlookup, you can do that. And a two-way lookup refers to the ability to search for a value, both in the rows and in the column. So you are trying to do both vertical and horizontal lookup at the same time. So what do I mean? You have your countries here, you have their regions, you have the number of people that migrated in 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, and 22. So you can decide that instead of just calling the country and a particular year, you can change this year and you can also change the country based on what you want. And there is also, okay, let me first get the value before I now explain further. So now I want to know in Benin, I want to know how many people, okay, let me look for a value that is not visible here. Let's use Nigeria, okay? Let's use Nigeria. I want to know in Nigeria, How many people migrated to Canada in 2021? So what do? I am going to write in my formula, which is equal to Xlookup. I'll press my tab button. My lookup value, what am I looking for? I'm looking for Nigeria. I'll click on Nigeria, comma, my lookup array. Where do I find Nigeria? So the moment I click on Algeria here, I'll press Control Shift down. So it has selected all the data there. Then I'll do comma. So remember, it's not only Nigeria I'm looking for. I also want to return the value of the total number of migrants in 2021. So I'll be, that is why it is called a two-way lookup. I'll be calling another Xlookup function to call in to insert this 2021 so that my formula can look for 2021 in the data. So what do? I'll say Xlookup, another Xlookup, press my tab button. So this time around, what am I looking for? You know, I'm looking for Nigeria in 2021. So now I'm looking for my 2021. I'll click on 2021, comma. Where would I find 2021? I would find it in the vertical column. So I'll highlight all the years here, press my comma. So now we have the return array. So Excel is asking us, when I find Nigeria and I find 2021, what should I return? Then you are going to select all the values from 2018 to 2021. So I'll click here, then I'll do Control Shift, my side arrow, then my down arrow to lock up, to insert all the formula. Then I'll close my bracket. Now I have to close my bracket twice because I have two formulas. So this first bracket is for the first Xlookup, then I'll also enter the second bracket, then I'll press my enter. Now let's see what we have. So it's telling us here that in 2021 we have 3,443 Nigerians that migrated to Canada. So this is the beauty of Xlookup. I can now decide, okay, 2021, I want to know what happened in 2020. I will just change this and change it to 2020 and press enter. And my formula is working for me. I can say, okay, I don't even want to know about Nigeria again. Let's go to Chad. What happened there? Then my values will keep on changing. And also, I can also do a data validation here in case I don't want to be entering the data. So data validation means I'll scroll down, then I'll input all the data that I'm going to show you in the next, in one of the examples, we have data validation there. So this is the beauty of a two-way lookup. And I can also change it. I can say, okay, it's 2022, I want to know. And your values keep on changing. And I can say, okay, I want to know what happened in Congo. So the moment you change this, press enter, it will keep on working like that. So you don't have to keep on having repetition and keep on repeating your formulas day in, day out. The moment you have this, you can always walk around with it. So the next example we are going to be looking at is horizontal lookup. I want to show you that Xlookup can also perform horizontal lookup. So this is it. So when you say horizontal lookup, that means what we are looking at, my data, imagine you are given a data that is like this, and you have to look up for a value, and you have it running in thousands of columns. So you can use Xlookup instead of the traditional HLOOKUP. So here, let's say I want to look at Cameroon. So I'll be picking Cameroon. So this is Cameroon. So Cameroon is the country I want to look up for. So the same thing, who can tell me how to insert the formula?
Equal to Xlookup.
Equals to Xlookup. Okay.
What we are looking for, the lookup array, the lookup value.
Okay.
Then the array. The array is the com.
Okay.
And comma.
Okay.
That's the immigrant. The return immigrant.
Data here. Then I'll close my brackets, enter. So you can see we already have it here, 2,439 Cameroonians migrated into Canada. So we didn't specify the year here. So I'll be moving on to the next example. That's error handling. How can you undo errors when you are using Xlookup? I'm sure a lot of us, while working with VLOOKUPs or Xlookups, we have encountered the popular NA. So now, let's see how we can undo that. So we want to look for Algeria in this data set. So I'll be saying equal to, I'll type in equal to Xlookup, just as we have been doing. Our lookup value is Algeria. The lookup array, where do you want to look for Algeria? So I'll do Control Shift down, comma. Then the return array, what do I want to return? I want to return the year, the number of immigrants in that year. Then I close my bracket. Now I have not a number or not available. So that means Algeria is not part of this data. And truly, if you look at it, Algeria is not here. So in case I don't want to be seeing this NA in my data or in my result, I want Excel to tell me whether it is there, or I want to create like a message that would let me know that, oh, truly Algeria is not part of it. So all these data here are for West African country. Algeria is not a West African country. So in case I want to do that, I'll go back to my formula. So where I have, the first argument I entered is my lookup value, which is E2, my lookup array, my return array. So now I want to proceed and tell Excel what to do if my lookup value is not found. So what do? I'll enter a comma. When I enter a comma, I'll put in my lookup. What do I want Excel to do when it is not found? So I'm going to be putting it in quotation, because any value that is not anything that is not in ranges, Excel would not understand it. So I want to say it is not a West African country. So I'll close my quotation. Then I can now put enter. So you can see it here that it's telling me that Algeria is not a West African country. But if I change this to Ghana, it's going to give me a value. But if I change it back to probably Algeria, it will tell me it is not a West African country. Or I put in Egypt here, it's also telling me that Egypt is not a West African country. So here you can put in anything that you want. So far it is in quotation. You have put that what you want to Excel to return back to you in quotation, you are going to be fine. So imagine you work as a salesperson. Okay, whether it is case sensitive. Now let's experiment that to see Egypt. Okay, let's say Algeria. Okay, Algeria is not going to work.
Let's say Ghana.
So it's not case sensitive, as you can see. So my data is in proper. I have my data in proper case, while this is in uppercase. So it is not case sensitive. So can we move on, please? All right, I'll take that as a yes. Thank you. So the next thing we'll be looking at is multiple lookup. Now imagine in my data, I have a column called region 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, and 2022. And I cannot start putting in, I want to know what region is Burundi. I want to know how many people migrated to Canada in 2018, in 2019. So imagine having to enter a formula that I will enter formula for region, another formula for 2018, for 2019, and like that. So Xlookup has the capability to return an array of results at once instead of calling the formulas one after the other. And that we are going to be doing right now. So now, what we are going to do is that we want to know the region of Burundi and the total number of immigrants from 2018 to 2022. So I'm going to say equal to Xlookup. My lookup value is Burundi. I'll press comma. My lookup array, you can actually walk across sheets. So my data is on another sheet, but that doesn't matter. I'll go to the sheet where my data is, and I'll pick my lookup array, which is this column right here. So I'll press Ctrl Shift down. Then, comma. What should I return? Excel is asking what is the return array. Then you will now come to the result array where you have region name to 2022. You are going to select all the data that is there. So I'll do Ctrl Shift, forward arrow and down arrow to select everything here. And I'll close my brackets, then press enter. Can you see what happened here? It has brought the result, it has returned the result of everything that I have selected that I want. So if I change from Burundi and I change it to Nigeria, okay, I even have the data validation I said I was going to tell you about. So it's possible, in case you don't want to be typing, you have the list of all your data in just on one cell, and you just click whatever you want. Can you see? I've changed it to Angola. I can change it to Cote d'Ivoire, and I'm having my results. So that is the beauty of Xlookup. Are we together? All right, I'll take that.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So to the next example we are going to be looking at, I want to look at reverse search. Now, as I'm talking about all these things, if you are someone that works regularly with data, be thinking about it. How can I make use of this in my current workplace or with the data I have with me to make my work easier? So now, the reverse search is this. There are two ways about it. I am going to be I'll first use the first one, which is the easiest. Let me just pick any value from here. Let me pick this. I'm not even looking 12, 13. Okay. So I have 12, 30 here. Let me be sure that's what I picked. 1203. So 1,203. Okay. So it could happen that maybe you are an analyst at in Canada, and you are working as you are the one analyzing all this data, and your boss just called you that I learned there is a particular country that has more than 1,000 or probably over 6,000 immigrants. Let's fish that country out. I want to know that country right now. So instead of you to start open your workbook and start searching, or you start filtering, you can just enter a simple formula that is going to tell you exactly approximate value, or probably you know that it is 1,203, or you just have an idea of the value. You can either do, you can actually get the country. So now I know this 1,203. I want to know which country has this particular figure in 2022. So what I'm going to be doing is still the same thing we have been doing, but we are doing the reverse. The results, we are searching for the results in the search. So I'll do equal to Xlookup. So now my lookup value is 1,203. Lookup array, where am I going to find this value? I'll click here in 2022, select the data. So, and return array, what should I return? I want to know the country. Then I close my brackets and enter and click enter. So it's telling us that it is Mauritius that has 1,203. So from here, there are other things we can do. Now imagine, okay, I'm going to talk about that in the match mode. Now imagine you just have, they just want you to, okay, let's move to the match mode, then I'm going to explain that so that we are not going to model things up. So I'll come to the match mode here. So like I said when we started the class, that Xlookup has 6 arguments. 3 of those arguments are compulsory. That means you have to enter those arguments, while the other 3 are not compulsory. So we want to move to those that are not compulsory. We have what we call match mode. Okay, we have talked about if not found, which is one of the ones that are not compulsory. So we have 2 left to talk about, the match mode and the search mode. So we'll be talking about the match mode. Now imagine, as the data analyst for Canada, that you want to know the number of immigrants that are entering into Canada. You now have your boss has given you a task that, okay, I want to know the countries that have immigrants between 2,000 to 6,000. Those particular countries, we are not going to be admitting in their citizens for this particular year. Probably you want to make decisions for 2024. Let's assume this data is for 2023. So you want to make decision for 2024. We want to know those countries that already have influx of their citizens in our country. So for 2024, we can know how we are going to ration it and the countries we are not really going to be taking in. So you want to check those people that already have between 2,000 and 6,000 so that you know those countries. Also, this information can also assist. Imagine if, based on these numbers, you want to be admitting in a percentage. So probably you say, okay, any country that has citizens above 6,000, we only be admitting 5% of that number in for 2024. Or anybody that have less than 1,000, we are going to be admitting 50% of that number. Probably they are trying to cut in the number of people that are entering the country. So we want to know the countries that have this particular value. Just scrolling through my data set, I can't even see 6,000 here myself. So this is where the match mode is going to be useful. And in match mode, there are 4 different options. We have the exact match. We have the one which is the default. Is going to return this 6,000 itself. Then we have if not found. That means the value when 6,000 is not found, then you are going to, Excel is going to return the next smaller number. So that means any number that is smaller than 6,000 is what Excel will return. Then 1 is going to return the next larger item. So that means any number above 6,000 is what is going to return. And we also have a wild card. That is when you are not sure, probably you are not even sure of the name of the country, or you want to search for a name of a person, you only know the first name, you don't know the second name, and you want Excel to return that value for you. So that's when you are going to be using the wild card. So now let's begin. I would say equal to Xlookup as we have been doing. I'll press my tab button. Then lookup value is this 6,000. I'll click on it, comma, return array. Where is my 6,000? Where am I looking for 6,000? Is under this 2022. So I'll click on the first cell, Control Shift down to highlight all my cell. Then press my comma. Then return array. What should Excel return? So I'll click on this. Now, before we proceed, let's see what happens here. You can see I have an NA because there's no 6,000 in this data set. So let me proceed to now put in my match mode. So the next argument is if not found. That is not what I'm looking for. So I press my comma. If not found, that is not it. Then I press another comma to move to the next one, which is my match mode. And Excel is already asking us, what type of match do you want? So I want the value above 6,000. So I will be choosing 1 because it is going to give me the next larger item or number. So I press in my 1 and I click enter. You can see from here now, it's telling us that the country is Nigeria. So if I do this, because I would like to scroll down, I don't want to start typing this formula one after the other. And if I shift down just like this, my cells are going to move. So I'm going to lock in my formulas. So to lock in my formulas, I am going to press in my F4 or my $sign. So I click on my formula. So you press on F4 to lock in the formula. So I'll lock in my formula. Then I click OK. So with this, I can just drag down my formula. And here you can see it has told me the countries that have immigrants that are above this number. So Nigeria is also appearing again because probably is the only country that has above 500. So that is how the match mode works. So if I want to look for a smaller match, I'm going to be using -1, and just like we have explained the other time. So from here, there are so many other things you can also do with Xlookup, like your search mode. How does search mode works? So let's assume in this data set now, we are no longer talking about countries. We are now talking about goods. We want to know prices of goods. So maybe we are selling drinks. So, and we are recording the sales of our drinks on a daily basis. So I might want to know what is the latest sales that I made. And Xlookup is going to be giving me the first search that it can find. So in your search mode, you can actually tell Excel the type, whether you want the first item or the last item, or you can tell it to perform a binary search. But with this, you are going to be sorting your data in either ascending or descending order, depending on what you want. Also, Xlookup can also perform dynamic range selection. And dynamic range selection actually means, now let me go back to my data to explain this. You know, we have the list of countries here. Now let's assume we only have list of African countries. I don't want to change my formula and I want to add list of European countries or list of Asian countries. So I will just come here and add those data to my data set and my formula will still be working fine when I perform a dynamic range selection. But the only thing is that in my formula, instead of calling these digits, I'll be calling from column, from rows to rows. So I'll be saying probably from A to cell A to cell A or cell B to cell B. So there are a lot of things Xlookup can do, like I have said. You can perform wildcards with it, and wildcard means maybe you know the first name of a person, you don't know the second name, and you want to look for that person. You can actually perform wildcard. You can use search mode. You can do multiple lookups. You can perform calculations with this, just like I was trying to tell you here. So after knowing this, you can, okay, how many people should we admit in 2024? You can have a column here, and you can calculate this based on this formula. You can calculate how many people Canada is willing to take into their country. So to learn all this and more, kindly register for our upcoming data school that will be starting January 2024, where we are going to be looking at some of these functions and many more to upskill your data skills. And also, we are also going to be looking at Power BI. We are also going to be taking Power BI and Microsoft Excel, and our certificate will be a CPD accredited certificate. Thank you very much for joining us today. And thank you very much for being a part of this class. I would like to take
Adenike, we can't hear you. Or am I the only one?
I can hear her too. I think
Yes,
she's muted.
Adenike is open to taking questions now. If you have questions, Adenike, speak. Let's know if we can hear you. We
hear me now.
cannot hear you. Okay. Speak again.
Okay,
Yeah, we can hear you now.
right. Thank you. So I would like to take questions for anyone that have questions. Thank you very much, Folashade.
Thank you.
So I want to believe the class was well understood. That's why we don't have anybody with questions. So since we don't have any question, I would like to thank everyone that have joined us today for this section. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. And you are going to be getting the recorded, you are going to be getting a replay of this section in case you would like to follow up or you want to try and practice what you have learned. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. You are welcome, Folashade.
Thank you, Adenike. Okay, so I'll stop recording now. Hi, Agnes. Good evening.